We've all heard the saying, the devil's in the details. And if we're going to be talking about devils, I figured I'd pick the right two trucks. But what do people actually mean about that? That's what we're going to talk about today. Hey everyone, it's Josh at Kenworth of Richfield. I want to thank you for stopping back this week, and I think I've got the right colors today. No? Nonetheless, I say the devil's in the details, and there's a big reason behind that, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Because really, when you look at trucks as a whole, the Cummins engine that's in both of these trucks can actually be bought in other brands. Same thing for the transmission. This has an 18-speed, this is a 10-speed Ultra Shift. So why would you buy a Kenworth if you can get the same engines? And I mean, I don't want to say a frame rail's a frame rail, but if you can get close to the same frame rails, the same or similar axles, why would you go with a Kenworth? Today, we're going to dive into just a few of those reasons, because even a couple of reasons should be enough to convince you that we're the right direction to go with on this. We know we're not the cheapest, but we know that in terms of life cycle cost, we are the world's best. Where should we start? I'm not going to break tradition. Let's start up at the front. One of the things that I see so many times when I'm going down the road is a truck that looks like it needs dental work. The grill's mangled, whether it's got a big chunk of it missing or a hole through it or whatever. You don't see that with Kenworth grills. They're tough. This is all metal. That's all metal. There's a reason why it's all metal. Now, what you'll see here is there's a driver, Frank Strohmeyer. Great guy. Go check out his Instagram. Lots of really cool old trucks on there, but I digress. Frank was out on the road, caught a deer the other morning. Here's a picture of it. Now, what do you think would have happened had that been a plastic grill on the front end of that truck? He wouldn't be just replacing a grill. He'd probably be replacing some of the items behind it. And that is the key. This isn't just for looks, although I think the Kenworth grills look great. It's to protect the things behind it. We've got all sorts of coolers that I can see here. You've got your air conditioning condenser. In many cases, a power steering cooler. You've got, in many cases, an oil cooler, sometimes a transmission cooler. You've got your air cooler. You've got your radiator. I mean, one rock, this is going to stop it. If it makes it through a piece of plastic, you're looking at all sorts of headaches, hassles, and damage. Now, the other thing on top of those headaches, hassles, and damage, downtime. So, more than just the cost of the items that got destroyed, you're not out making money. So this metal grill that might seem rather insignificant when you first look at it can save you thousands of dollars. Makes sense now, doesn't it? These are the types of details that make Kenworth the world's best. So sometimes there's just as much detail in what you don't do as what you do put on a truck. These headlights are a standard halogen bulb. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, hey, it's 2019. Are we still using fax machines? No. But I know a lot of people have issues with LED bulbs, and there's still some issues with HID bulbs. If a bulb goes out, you're not picking one up right at the local parts counter. You're going to have to do some work to replace that. Now, the longevity's gotten much better with those lights, and they're really a high quality light. But the ease of use and the simplicity of the halogen bulb makes it so this is still a great option. To me, as soon as the LEDs do everything better and the HIDs do everything better than the halogen bulbs, we're still going to have halogen bulbs around. I'm okay with that. They still do a great job of getting light down the road. Like I said, if you ever have an issue, it's like $8 to keep one in the truck. Makes sense. Now, I know a lot of you guys aren't going to treat these trucks like your personal gym, but you can. Let me explain why. So I know I've mentioned that the mirrors are mounted to the cab and not the door before, but why does that matter? Well, we'll start to get into the cab portion of it and then show you why you don't want them mounted to the door. With it being mounted to the cab, this is actually just in front of the door. Now, one of the biggest things with that is it's mounted to the A-pillar. This is right where the firewall meets the column that holds up the roof of the cab. This is like the stiffest structure in the cab. This is the absolute best place to mount something that you want to be stable. I don't see why everyone doesn't do this, but it's just one of the things that makes Kenworth great. We pay attention to those types of details. I believe the mirror's rated for 300 pounds. I'm not necessarily going to test that, but when I hang off of them, I sure believe it. So why does that strength matter? There are so many reasons why I don't want a mirror mounted to the door. And when you look, this is a narrow part of the door. It's a structured part of the door, but it's a narrow part of it. So if you hang on that, you're actually pulling on something that has nothing attaching it at the top. It's just hanging there. It's the structure of the door. This uses the entire structure of the cab. If I hang on this, the entire truck shakes. When you've got one that's attached to the door, if you start pulling on it, you can actually see on some other trucks, the top of the door does start to pull away. I mean, you're inviting air in, you're inviting water in, because you do that a couple of times and it's gonna not spring back. Why mount it to the door? The other thing that's great about this, you open this door, if you're sitting in that seat, you can still use the mirror. So open the door, use the mirror to see what's coming before you stick your head out. Just another safety item for you to go off of. Next up, I can do that all day and mirror's not gonna move. It's just, it's still there. I've driven trade-ins back from customers where I closed the mirror closed the door and I almost got hit by the mirror. I'm like, what? How do you use this? One of the other things that's great about this mirror design is it is a breakaway mirror. Now I know there's other breakaway mirrors available, but the way so many of them work, when you look at them, the mirror ends up smacking the window or it actually breaks something else. There's a weak point installed. If this breaks away, it doesn't come back. It doesn't touch anything. Nothing's broken. Takes a little bit of effort, but you pull the mirror right out. The other thing is, I'll go that way also. It really is just a great design on this. Well thought out. It's not an afterthought. When you look at something like this, this is engineered into the truck. When you're driving around, look at some other trucks. When you look real hard at them, you're like, hey, we built a truck. Oh, we forgot to put mirrors on it. Just go ahead and slap those on there. You can tell this has been thought about from the get-go. While recording this, I don't know if I should be here or which one looks better. Either way, let's talk about the doors. Not the band, guys, on the trucks. What's funny is you'd never think about it, but we could probably spend an entire episode, vlog, whatever you want to call this, talking about just the door and some of the engineering things that have gone into that. And to me, that's what's kind of amazing about some of these trucks, is the thought that goes into some of this stuff. So when you look at it from the outside, you're going to notice there's no piano hinge there. This is an automotive style door. Now, I know some people get all grumpy about that and saying, it'll never work. Things have changed. I don't know if you've noticed, I make the cell phone reference before. A lot of you used to have to go into the truck stop and see the phone bank to phone home. You don't have to do that anymore either. Times have changed, some things have improved. This, one of the big things with the hinge being inside the door, first off, it's not exposed to weather anymore. Second off, it's not exposed to wind anymore. We're just that much smoother down the side of the truck. Now, I know you don't think that makes a huge difference, but when you add that up over hundreds of thousands upon hundreds of thousands of miles, it makes a difference. It really does, especially when we can smooth that out. So when you look at this door handle, this is a heavy-duty door handle. It feels good. The biggest thing that I notice about this is this well in here is deep enough that during the winter, I could be wearing like ski mittens and still I'm able to comfortably get my hand in here and open the door. It's a big enough space. It's just well thought out to be able to do that. On the other thing with this, now they're offering a rain guard here. It's great. It keeps all the rain out of your truck. If you want to have the window open a little bit going down the road, or if just you're sitting somewhere for a few minutes, want to have the window cracked, you can do that and you're not going to get the weather inside of there. So look at this thing straight on. It's thick. Do I spell that with the 2 or 3 C's, or no, we're going to still spell it with a K. This thing is a thick door. It's not heavy, but it's just well designed. That thickness is in structure. It's not just 2 beer cans slapped together like so many old doors are. In this, it's a nice heavy, once again, automotive style latch. Now, you can have an automotive style latch and everyone thinks it's going to wear out. When you make it with better, heavier duty materials, well, you can make them last. And that's exactly what's been done here. Now, something else that's kind of interesting about this is we all remember being kids. If you hear the door dinger, like you've got the keys in the ignition in a car, the door dinger would go off, you'd find the button that's somewhere on there and you'd push that. It's actually in the latch there itself, so there's no button. What's the advantage to that? The big advantage is once again, it's not exposed to weather, it's not exposed to elements, and it's not going to go bad. So I know I mentioned the hinge earlier also. This is a heavy-duty hinge. I'm going to show you a close-up here, and you will see. I know so many guys say, a normal hinge will never last. When you look at this stuff, I'm not going to recommend it, but you could probably tow a car with it. For someone to hang off the end of this door, I don't think it's going to be much of an issue. This is definitely engineered to be heavy-duty because Kenworth spends all this time getting these triple door seals to get to fit together right. When you spend all the time doing that, you want to make sure that it stays together and that it works. And that's exactly what they've done. So one of the other things that's kind of cool about these doors is how far they open. I mean, this is a nice wide opening for you to get in the truck. Now, let's get just a little bit away from the door here. There's a handle here and a handle here. I mean, this allows you that 3-point of contact to get in and out of the truck. And these are standard handles. The thing that I love about them is the thought. This runs really close to the dashboard, but you can still get a gloved hand in here. The other thing that's amazing about it is with the key being right here, it makes it so your knee isn't going to take the key out when you get in or out of the truck. So it protects the key also. It's just a well thought out, well designed system. Now, if you don't necessarily want to use that handle, the map pocket here. This is a new truck, so there's nothing in it yet. I know some of us, some days, We keep this full enough that it's useless as a handle because you can't get your hand in there. But if you can get your hand in there, it's a nice rounded contoured surface. You can get a grip on it there. And it's kind of like the mirrors because and it doesn't flex. What more can you ask for out of a door? Something that you think is so simple, but they've put so much just brilliant thought into it, into making this the best truck out there. Something about the world's best, I believe, is in our advertising. Maybe I have to go look. So let's talk about the interior. Some other time. It is a 60+ degree day in the 3rd week of October. I'm not going inside of anything. So not everything that we're going to talk about today is going to be on top of the frame. Right now we're going down below and we're going to talk about the AG400 suspension that's on this truck. Now this is a Kenworth specific suspension. When you look at a lot of the 4 airbag systems that are out there, they're all very, very similar in design and principle. This system, it's an 8-bag system. It's a design all unto its own. It offers increased traction and a really smooth ride, which when it comes down to it, isn't that what we're all looking for out of a truck? To me, this is one of those innovations where so many people are just so happy to say, yes, we've got something that goes down the road and keeps truck drivers from complaining. This goes a step beyond that. It makes things better. It just offers so many better options in it. And we all want better. Isn't that the reason why you're looking at a Kenworth? As I started to work on what I was going to say in this video, how to finish it became a bit of a stumbling block for me. Do I talk about second place as the first loser? Do I talk about stuff like that? And no, that's not where I want to go with this. I want you to think back to the last time you moved. Who were the friends that were there no matter what? Every day, helping you out. Never asking any questions. The reliable friends, the ones that show up when maybe you need a jump start. Like I said, maybe when you're going to go move. Maybe when times are a little bit tough. Yeah, that's what these are. We've got other friends, and that's fine. You can have other friends. But the real friends I want are the ones that are going to be there every day, busting their ass for me. I think that's the best analogy here. There's room for other trucks out there in the market. I totally understand that. Not everyone needs the best truck because, hey, this comes at a premium. If you drive 5,000 miles a year, I get it. You don't need to spend the money on a Kenworth. In the same sense, if those 5,000 miles a year are crucial, you need a Kenworth. If you need something that's going to last 20 years, you need a Kenworth. If you need to make sure that your investment gives you the highest return possible, I really don't think I need to say it again, but you need a Kenworth. So I know I've got fans out there that drive other trucks and that use other trucks. So let me hear your thoughts on it. What about the doors? What about the mirrors? And I mean, we're not even talking really much mechanical here besides the suspension. We're just talking about how the truck's built. And if the cab's built that way, how's the rest of it put together? How well thought out do you think the rest of that stuff is? I think it's pretty good. Do me a favor, talk about that in the comments below. I love interacting with you guys. I think a lot of you guys have picked up on that. If you think I earned it, please give me the thumbs up. It does help. Also, make sure you're subscribed with the notifications bell. That notifications bell makes a huge difference for you guys, but more so for us. So if you're willing to help me out, yeah, just go ahead and click the bell. As always, I'm going to say stay safe, keep a rubber side down. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm actually just going to go stand behind the camera here and maybe stare for a few minutes.